I work with small businesses at all stages, from early stage development to growing companies that are trying to accelerate their revenues. And I also work with people who are struggling in business. One of the main things I really do is help people get funding. Obviously, I provide mentorship to them and education about business, from marketing to advertising to how to manage your cash flow statements and evaluate your financials every month, and also just that basic startup assistance. And we find that mainly, as Connie and I have been working together, that businesses really need access to mentors, monies, and markets. And so what we're trying to do is really develop a good network of mentors that can come in here every month and present and give you guys some beneficial education on any type of business topic that you guys are seeking. It's kind of hard to really pinpoint because everybody's very different, but that's what these meetings are intended to be for. And at the same time, we're trying to assemble a mentorship board in which you can show up here, and the mentorship board will be here, and you'll be able to receive specific counseling. We have a lawyer, which is Paul Lidoff. He said he'd be here today. You can talk to him. Jared St. Clair has signed up to be our CPA mentor, so he can give you some accounting help. And then we're just looking for some marketing, some advertising mentors, and maybe some IT mentors as well. Brian's kind of signed on to be one of our marketing mentors, so if you have any marketing questions, we'd love you to talk to him. But what we'd really like these meetings to be is really kind of a symbiotic relationship between residents and businesses, where you can kind of all derive from each other what you need in your businesses. You can kind of bounce ideas off each other, whether it's IT, marketing, programming, but we kind of have this unity amongst everybody. And what I'd really like this session to be, and I'd really like to see all these forum meetings be, is really a back and forth. I don't want presenters just to come up here and present and just everybody just kind of zones out and picks little pieces of what sounds good and everybody kind of goes home. I'd really like it to be a back and forth between the speakers and the audience. Because, you're all in business, right? Most of you? I see a lot of familiar faces that are in business here. So yes, I'd like this to be a back and forth. So today, I initially had prepared a presentation to talk about idea concept, development, and how to take your ideas through your business to market, okay? I wasn't anticipating such a small audience. We were going to kind of go about a different format today. But what I'd actually like to do, let's just start out. I'd like each of you to stand up, tell me a little bit about your business and a problem that you might be, or a challenge you might be confronting in your business. And I'll kind of cater my presentation around you guys individually. And we can just kind of start this going right here. Do you want to start over here?
Sure. I'm Brian Bills. I represent my own company, B&L on Promotions, as well as do the marketing for Little Dress Up Shop. So we have been in business for about 9 years, and been in our home for 7 years doing our business. And just through the incubator program, got into the retail space that we're in right now. But one problem that we're having, or one thing we're trying to figure out right now, is just trying to get local traffic into a new retail business. So that's kind of something new to us, is the retail side. We've been online for 9 years and know how to do that, but now it's the retail side.
So you want to drive more local traffic from your retail establishment? Okay. Let's go over to Lamont.
My name is Lamont Snar. Primary company is Chamber Services, LLC. I consult chambers of commerce on membership development, back-end membership software, marketing. And next challenge is moving out of the Utah market into a nationwide, maintaining a brand. So branding.
How long have you been doing this, Lamont?
Since January.
January, okay. I'll back here.
I'm Megan Pierre. I'm the manager for Simply Ice Cream. The owner couldn't be here today, so he asked me to come in, and only been there about 4 weeks. So.
And that's dry, right?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yes.
And now, is there any challenges that you're experiencing currently?
I think we're kind of trying to look at winter, because ice cream, a lot of people don't come in, and so we're looking at a couple different ideas on how to get people to still continue to come in. And so I think that's, being that I'm so new at it, I'm thinking that's probably going to be an issue that we need to address. So.
Okay.
I'm Tom Reed. I represent the Natural Llama. My my wife's home-based empowerment for women business. She's a childbirth educator, a labor doula. She does placenta encapsulation and uses essential oils. Again, her tagline is empowering the natural mama in you. And so she's been doing this for several years, but I'm jumping on board as her marketing director, having experience, background, several years of marketing. And I think our biggest challenge is really taking there's a lot of births that happen in this community, but how do we get our name out there? How do we present ourselves as a viable alternative or option for mothers that are seeking natural support, either it's in their childbirth education courses, whether they need support in labor, whether postpartum they need support, or they want to do something as weird as placenta encapsulation. How do we get that message out there on a budget? That's the biggest thing, is how do we do that? I've worked on big companies that had funding and marketing plan cycles and stuff like that, but that's not how we run a solopreneur business. So.
Yeah. Okay, so marketing issue again.
Yeah.
Okay. So we got a little bit of marketing kind of out of your retail establishment, going national. How do you get more people in your business in the wintertime? Okay, all marketing kind of stuff. Let's go back here.
My name's Rich. Most of you probably already know me there. I'm the owner of Walking Guns and Gear. We're a home-based firearms business located here in City Center. I retired 23 years Marine Corps. I was a sniper and come out and decided wasn't much calling for snipers out there in the real world, so I decided to open up a gun shop. And probably our biggest challenge is we moved from Draper to here, so we're kind of out in the middle of nowhere. And a lot of our residents are leaving the city during the daytime, going to their other jobs. So our biggest deal is trying to get other businesses in here where I get clients that, and customers that are staying here and actually do it combined. Yesterday we did launch our online web store. I found a company in Breaker Bank to do it. So, but yeah, we're got that up and running, and hopefully it'll take off good, and we'll be able to go nationwide with that. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, our biggest deal is, get people to know that we're here, so.
Okay.
I'm Ryan with Ryan's Design and Print. Do everything, design, printing. I've been able to help Brian. He's been able to turn it back and help me get some marketing going. Business cards, banners, banner stands, vehicle graphics. Pretty much do everything except for print money. I'll print the tools for you to help you make money.
You get that going with let's talk.
I don't want the FBI after me. But you can protect me, right?
We'll talk about that later.
And then the
That's
biggest
the
challenge,
synergy we want to create, right?
the biggest challenge right now is just growth, trying to acquire more customers.
Okay. Which has a marketing aspect behind it too.
I seem to have a lot of little customers, but I'm trying to get a few bigger ones so I can pay my bills.
Excellent, excellent. Okay. Got the local legend.
I'm Scott Holdsworth. I have a couple companies here, but one of them is Nina Utah Business Services, targeting Eagle Mountain website development and business services. I also have a company called Enfortex Technologies. It's a web-based online website replication system, or it just allows you to build websites massively fast and manage all the content on the websites. So I did build the Utah site. We're relaunching that with the RSL site, but it has actually other features, community and businesses that we're going to start adding. Yeah, if you have any questions about this or anything else, I can deal with afterwards.
Okay.
Okay, I'm Katie Key, and I'm a portrait photographer here in the City Center. I have a home-based studio and can also shoot on location, but prefer to do the studio. And my biggest issue right now is trying to find clientele and getting into my target market.
Okay, how long have you been in looks like we all have very unique businesses, but we all have specific needs, and that's drive sales, right? And in order to drive sales, we have to market. We have to get our message out there to people. Now, I don't want to step too much on marketing today because next month, Brian's going to come in, and we're going to have an open forum with several marketers. So it's going to be a Q&A back and forth with marketing. So I don't want to step on their toes today, but just know that that's the meeting I'm excited for, because I know I'll even take a lot away with that. But as a consultant and a counselor, every day I deal with businesses from franchises to mom and pop stores to cottage kitchens to very big tech businesses and even manufacturing businesses. So I get the gamut of questions in marketing and business development, whether it's people need funds, people need to reach more markets, people need more knowledge, people need bigger budgets, it's just, you name it, right? They need IP protection. But one commonality that every business seems to have is I need to find more clients, I need to close more sales, and I need to retain the clients that I have, okay? And those should be really your main focus in your business is acquiring new clients, retaining the ones you have, and closing more business. Sorry, I just said those out of order. But the presentation that I prepared today was really kind of about general business development. Maybe I can help you guys go through these early stages of business development. And then next week, Brian can hit on these marketing concepts. But really, in early business development, there's one thing that you're not really business developers. People think that they're in the business development game, early stage business. But you're really in the sales game. And just kind of enumerated just a few things. I was preparing a presentation over the weekend, but our windows blew out due to the flood. So I can get little bullet points on business development. Now really, everywhere you go, you need to be a salesman. Everyone you talk to. And you also need to be the best survey taker in the world. Because unless you're building your product or service around your client's needs, you're just building a product or a service that they might not want. Thomas Edison says, I never want to build anything that somebody doesn't want to buy. And the reason he said that, because he knew if somebody wasn't willing to pay money for a product or service, he wasn't really solving anybody's pain. He wasn't really doing anything. And let me give you a good example of this. A little while ago, a guy came into my office, and he works in a junkyard, and there was a toilet seat laying on the ground. And because of the heat, there was some plastic that melted onto the top of the toilet seat. It was just right on the edge of the toilet seat, so it looked like a little kind of a lever that you could lift the toilet seat up with. So you didn't have to touch the toilet seat, you touched the little lip, right? So he came in and he says, I have the best idea. I went to a patent attorney and I paid him $3,000 to get a provisional patent on my design. I don't want anybody in the world to have a lip, like, I don't know what you call it, like a seat holder lift, right, for the toilet seat. He spent $3,000 on a provisional patent, okay? Well, I said, well, how many people want to use a lip on a toilet seat? And he's like, well, I would use it. I don't like to touch the toilet seat. And I said, well, how do people normally lift up a toilet seat? And he says, well, I don't know. He says, usually with their foot, or, if you're in a public restaurant. Or, and I said, what about your home? How do people lift up the toilet seat? He just, we all lift up the toilet seat. So anyways, what was happening here is I was trying to explain to him, are you really solving someone's pain? How inconvenient is it for them to reach down and just lift up the toilet seat with their finger and wash their hands afterwards, or even lift it up with their foot, right? So it was kind of slowly occurring to him that, oh, maybe people don't want my product, right? So needless to say, he spent $3,000 and nobody wanted his product. And so that's what we're kind of talking about with how we solve pain for people, right? As entrepreneurs, anybody in business, our job is to solve people's pain. And part of the process of solving people's pain is understanding what their pain is and really validating our ideas with the consumers, okay? So it doesn't matter whether you're an ice cream shop, or you sell dress-up dolls, or you're a programmer, you take pictures, or you're a printer. We need to appeal to people's pain, okay? We need to present our businesses in such a way that we are the solution to your pain, okay? Now, this is where most early stage development businesses really get into trouble, is they never take the time to articulate the pain they're solving for people. And let me give you a really good example of this. Is anybody familiar with CMS, the Consumer Merchant Services, right off of University Parkway in Orem? Okay.
I've seen the building.
Okay, and they have those really funny videos that are always going, like people tripping on YouTube and all this fun stuff. Well, they're obviously, clearly, it's a very successful company. But for the last year, all my friends have driven by and they say, I have no idea what they do, right? And their pitch on their big board was all this technical jargon about what they do in their business. I mean, integrated, backgraded solutions, you know, and people, I don't understand anything what they say. I mean, I know what consumer merchant services are and what they do for people, but it wasn't until this morning when I was driving by. It says, we are all your bank card transaction fee solutions. Like, we deal with anything that has a bank card in your business, right? It's pretty clear, right? If you accept any kind of transactions with a bank card, they are your solution, right? But for over a year, they've had these slogans running on their billboard, and no one knows what they mean. But so it goes to show that a really successful business can really miscommunicate their value proposition to their consumers. So it doesn't matter if you're photography, or if you're a dress-up shop, or if you're an ice cream store. You have to develop a way to articulate the pain you solve for your customers in such a way that it's so clear and so concise that they know exactly what you do. It takes you 2 seconds to tell them exactly what you do. But I see this all over and over and over again with all businesses. Just they fail to articulate the pain. Now, why am I stressing this so much? Is because if you don't articulate the pain you're solving for consumers, there's no way you can develop a marketing strategy that allows you to reach those people or communicate them. Because your marketing is your vehicle in order to reach your consumers, right? And unless you know how to paint the picture for them, they're not going to really know what your value is, okay? So that would be probably one of the first things I would ask everybody to do in their business. Figure out the pain that you're solving for your consumer. Articulate it very clear, concise, and concrete is what I always ask my clients to do. And it's kind of hard. It really is difficult. I've spent hours with clients going over the pain they articulate, they solve for people. Scott, do you remember this process a little bit? How hard was it?
Very hard.
Very hard, right?
You're tempted to be everything to everybody.
Exactly, yeah. And that's a process myth right there in business, is everything to everyone. And then that kind of brings me to this. I don't want to step on marketing again, but whenever you're developing your business, the one thing you want to look at is, so you have your market segments, right? Well, you have your market. So let's just say that this is the ice cream market. Let's say this is the dress-up market, right? Just anything dress-up, right? Well, how many segments are in the costume market, do you guys think? Just let's just say, you have adults, you have kids, you've got teens, you've got all these different markets, right? Well, within a market right here, you have segments in the market, okay? So let's just say this is the K through 6, is that what you guys do?
Or preschool through first, second grade.
Okay, well, let's just do K through second grade, is that what you said? Oh, okay. Okay, I'll just say 2. Okay, so what we're doing is whenever you're looking at your market, your addressable market that you're going to go for in your business, you're looking at the entire market and then you're looking at a segment. And then within that segment market, you're going, I'm going to go for this area of the market right here. Now, a lot of, in tech companies, what we encourage people to do who are going after enterprise businesses and big solutions, we ask them to say, we want you to paint the picture or look at the business card of the person you're going to be selling to. What does it say on their business card? What's their position? What's their title? What do they do on a daily basis? So we're really identifying within the market where you're going. It's not sufficient enough to say, everybody likes costumes, so I'm going to sell it to everyone, right? It's just not feasible. You can't have a big enough space to do that, right? So you really want to be very specialized. And then once you know your market, that's when you can really articulate your message to the people that it means the most to. Now, and it doesn't matter if it's printing. Do you see a common factor in your business, Ryan? People who come into you for printing? Is there the common denominator for people?
They just want good service,
Just want good service?
good, fast service.
Okay. Are they businesses? Are they just kind of consumers in the public? Are they some lady who needs printing down the road?
I guess I need to define that.
Yeah.
I'm kind of trying to take anything to get right now.
Okay. So Vistaprint is kind of an example. They really cater to small startup businesses. That's their model. You know, and it's really interesting if we look at Target. You guys know Target's main demographic of store? They're college-educated women with a bachelor's degree. Which is weird because I love Target. I don't fall within their target market. Their messages might not appeal to me, but I love their store. But really, everyone has a target market. Maverick gas station. Who's Maverick's target market? Adventures first stop, get your Mountain Dew here, right? It's the hardcore market. Now, do they have indirect markets that they serve? Of course. We all probably buy gas, Maverick's gas, right? But I mean, when you look at the content, the logo, the spawn, what's the abominable snowman? Is that their mascot? Right? It's just as hardcore. So yeah, they cater to a certain demographic. So that's what you're really looking for in all your businesses. So yes, so that's a little bit about some just general startup overview. Let me see. Now the next thing I'd really like you guys to do as you're moving forward in your businesses, and some of this might not be as applicable to you guys since you're kind of already going, is really focusing on your revenue model. And really reevaluating your revenue model at every point. Essentially, people don't assess their revenue models often enough. They know money's coming in, they know money is going out, but they really need to capitalize on the revenue model. Now, when I say revenue model, it's just basically how you bring in money into your business. What areas of your business are monetizable? A lot of people, it's just very basic. So if you do guns, do you know what areas of your business are monetizable? It's probably just the purchase to the customer, right? The sell to the customer. Okay. Early startup businesses, it's very difficult sometimes to understand where you're going to be getting money from. So constantly as you're developing your business, and maybe this might not be as applicable to a lot of you because you have kind of just point of sale things, just this, like photo shoot. You just pay for photo shoot, dresses, people pay for dresses. But the revenue model, there's a lot of ways you can monetize your business. And if you're on a website, like Scott, this is a great example. How many ways can you monetize your website that you're developing?
Advertising, sponsorships, commissions on affiliate programs, website development, leads coming from that to develop websites. What else have we done?
Subscription, premium content, subscription-based premium content.
Real estate. My wife is a real estate agent, so she will be giving news in real estate community. The community part will bring in real estate. People are interested in buying the mountain.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So I mean, a lot of people, but they never really take the time to identify their areas where they can monetize their businesses. So I know a lot of them are very straightforward, but I want you to consistently be evaluating sources that you can generate revenue from your business. And those sources can be sales channels through your business, or your salespeople, your distribution networks. There's a lot of ways you can monetize your business. So continually reevaluate your revenue model early stage. Let me just I don't want to take too much time because I want everybody to have some time, but there's one thing that I'd like to just go over with all of you who are early stage businesses, and this is a little thing that I teach to everybody. Now the reason most businesses fail is because they scale their businesses too soon. Basically, they start building businesses that don't have markets. They start building a toilet seat with a tab on it, and they don't really identify whether they're solving someone's pain or not. Now there's a few processes that I'll just kind of track this, write this down for you. So this is your initial idea phase. And this is, just kind of, they call it the midnight genius, where you're laying in your bed and you're like, I can start my own business, right? I can do this. You're a programmer and you're like, I'm sick of working for my boss, I'm gonna go start my own business. And then you run out to the field and you realize that you're not just a programmer anymore. You're a marketer, you're an accountant, you're in charge of advertising and just everything else you can imagine. So this is your initial idea phase, okay? And this is where you really need to hash out whether your idea is valid or not, whether you're on track. And this is where you start with your consumer validation. You go out and you talk to every single one of your customers, make sure you're on track with the right pain, that you're solving their pain. Now the next thing you want to do is articulate your value to your consumers. And I talked a little bit about that, but that's where you're basically stating in very few words exactly what you do and how you solve someone's pain and why you're the solution to that pain. And the next one is the consumer validation test. This is where you build your product with your consumer. Okay? So, Kate, if you're doing photography, just get every bit of feedback you can from your customers. Figure out how you should do photo shoots, what they like in their photo shoots. You have a really unique business, Scott, in the fact that people have different websites and different needs and everything. How do you fill how do you solve their pain, right? But this is one thing where most all businesses fall apart. This is called premature scaling. When people start building a product or service without the input of the customer. And the reason why 70 to 90% of businesses fail is because they rely on the conventional wisdom that business schools teach you, or you write a business plan, you get money, you build a product, and then you sell it. That has been proven wrong over and over the last decade. That it's just not the model to do anymore. This is kind of the new process right here. Building your product or your service with your consumer. Now the next thing you do, and this is really hard for entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs tend to fall in love with their ideas, and they kind of have this cognitive dissonance where they will not listen to anyone who speaks contrary to their idea. They feel like that just because they're acting on their business or they're spending money on their business, that is actually validation in their business, that they're moving in the right direction. But most entrepreneurs don't have the time or the money to go through this process. Now, if you're GE, you can pretty much develop any product you want, put it through all this testing, and then just put it on the market with no consumer validation. Or if you're Apple, you can do that, right? You can just invent products that people want. But for most kind of people like ourselves in business, we have to go to the customer and build our product or service around them, and then we take it to market. Now, while you're building your product or service, the last thing you need to do is, well, not the last thing, sorry, these are the things you need to take into account. A lot of times, as you're moving forward in your business, doesn't matter if you're in business or you're developing a product or service, you're going to get consumer feedback that may not validate what you're going for. So you're going to have these areas in the road where you're going to have to pivot. You're going to have to, you're going to have to proceed, pivot, change direction, or start over. Now, what I mean start over is you want to fail very early on in business, and basically have enough money left over to start again. If you don't validate your product or service and you just continue to build it, I can guarantee you won't have any money to move forward in your business. But if you build it with the people, when you get that validation, you know you can proceed forward. Or if your customers say, hey, you know what, I don't like this flavor of ice cream. It's really not, it's not a flavor for October. We don't like this stuff. And you switch, you kind of pivot. If you're developing an IT software or a platform, people are telling you, we like these features, we don't like these features, that's a pivot. You don't have to go rebuild the entire system all at once, right? But if you find out that maybe the area where you're going or the market that you're going for isn't the right one, then you can change direction entirely. But if you come to find out that you have a toilet seat with a handle on it that no one wants to use, you can start over. That's only if you're building it with the customer, okay? So this is really the kind of process that I encourage everybody to go through when they're starting up a business or trying to grow a business. Is just go through this validation process Other than that, I mean, there's a bunch of things that could talk. Oh, this is the last thing I'd like to talk about. Now, as you're moving forward through this process, and one thing I always ask people to really evaluate their business is, what are you? Are you a painkiller in your industry, or are you a vitamin? Has anybody ever heard this term before? Okay.
Yes, it will.
Well, a painkiller, let's just look at it like this. Say like, I don't know, 50 years ago, and you see a washer for the first time. How do you view that in your life? What kind of value do you perceive? Anybody been to Central America? You see people scrubbing there on the, okay. You think if you walked into a little place in Central America and you said, you want a washing machine? What do you think the value is to them? What kind of pain are we solving for them? Like a significant amount of pain, right? I mean, I lived in Central America for a little while. These ladies, their knuckles are all calloused and bruised because they hit their knuckles on the rocks, whether, you know, and it's like a practically an all-day process to clean your laundry, right? But if you walk in with a dryer, a washing machine and a dryer, and you say, hey, all you do is just throw the clothes in, you turn it on, and boom, you're done, right? That's a pain solver, right? eBay's a pain solver for people. You can get rid of unwanted junk in your garage. That's a pain solver, and you can get money for it, right? So we're looking at areas. Are you really a pain solver in the industry? Are you creating a solution that solves someone's pain? Now, most entrepreneurs don't look at themselves like that. They just think I'm inventing something, or I'm creating something, or I'm offering a service to someone. But they don't really evaluate how much pain people perceive. Because the greater someone's pain, the greater value they're willing to pay to have it solved. Okay? And so, like I said, kind of going back, if you can articulate that pain to them, a lot of people don't even know they have the pain until you state it for them. Like, oh yeah, I could use that. Now, if you're a vitamin, Facebook is a vitamin. Now, if you're a vitamin business, you're a value-added business. Okay? But the question is, are you a sticky business or not? Can you make any money doing this? So when I say Facebook is not very sticky, is because no one would pay for Facebook. But people, they didn't really know they needed Facebook until they started using it. We're all kind of interconnected now. But the second you hear that Facebook might charge, people are just like, oh, I jump ship and maybe go to Google or some other social networking site. So that's one thing that I always ask people to evaluate their business, because if you don't know if you're a painkiller or a vitamin, you're really not going to really know how to market your product or service, and you won't know how to monetize it. If you're a painkiller, you'll know people will pay for it. But if you're a vitamin, it's kind of tricky to figure out what value you can charge people for. Let's see. I think that's pretty much all I wanted to cover. Sorry this hasn't been very linear. I've been trying to kind of cater it to people in the audience.
Did you have a video you wanted to show, Sean? Or?
Oh, yes. Yeah, I can actually show you this video. How many of you are writing business plans for your business?
There's a question if we are or have.
Or are? Currently.
Continue.
Me too.
Need to?
Yes, sir.
Anybody else have a business plan or need to write a business plan for your business? Okay. Don't.
You guys are all pros?
Don't. Now I say don't right now, okay? I think this will be very helpful. I'm glad you brought this up, Connie. There's a little saying that says that your business plan will fall apart or becomes obsolete the second you meet your first customer. And it's very true. I know people who have come into my office and they've handed me a business plan that's this thick. They paid $3,000 to have somebody write it, and it's entirely useless. Business plans are roadmaps, and they're all based off of assumptions. And they can sound pretty and they sound really neat, but really in an early stage business, especially where you're really not going for funding, because a bank will need a business plan. You don't need one in your business right now. What you need is a business canvas, okay? This should be very helpful for you. Is this connected to the internet, Connie?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. And this is on YouTube, Google Business Canvas. Now, what I really like to emphasize is this isn't just for people starting a business. This really is for any business that's introducing a new product or service. All the big companies are using this now. You know how I was talking about the conventional knowledge that people learn? Business plans are one of them. Everyone's taught you write a business plan before you start a business, but GE, Apple, Google, they're all using this process, in order to validate the products and services. So it doesn't matter if you've been in business for 20 years, if you're going to introduce a new product, go through this process. If you're going to expand your business in some way, go through this process. If you're going to go into weddings, or if you're going to do massive print for businesses, like on the windows, evaluate this process. It doesn't matter what you're doing. But I will play this, and then I'll kind of tell you a little bit about it. Oh, was there audio, Ethan?
Ooh.
No.
Customer relationships established, the revenue streams you generate, the key resources and key activities you require to create value, the key problems.
You know what? I'm just going to fast forward to the. You guys can watch the video at home. I'll just explain this process.
Key problems.
Okay. So this, can you turn on maybe the lights sometime?
Yeah.
Okay, so basically Business Canvas enumerates all the 9 building blocks of business. Okay? And up here on the board, you see all they're kind of categorized out very nicely. Now, with the Business Canvas, you're just bullet pointing ideas. You're not writing big, long statements. However, over the top of this, I always tell people to write and articulate the pain that they're solving for people. In very clear words, exactly what you are for your consumers. So basically, in each segment, you have everything you would put in a business plan. It's laid out, and it allows you to actually see visually how your business will work. Now, the first thing I always like people to address right here are your customer segments. Who are your customers? And be very specific about this. Are they, think about their business cards, or just think about that one segment and enumerate them all. And the next thing I want you to evaluate is your value proposition. What value do you offer your customers? And that's, again, what pain are you solving for them, and what's your solution? Okay, you're going to enumerate the value that you provide to your consumers, and then the next thing you look at is how you deliver that value to your customers through your channels. Now, a lot of people have really, like Zappos, for an example, they have a very vast distribution channel. So they deliver their value through the website, through the distributors, through the mail. Does anybody order through Zappos? No? Okay. Yeah, so they have a very vast network of channels. That's the next thing you're going to evaluate. Now, the next one is your customer relationships. What type of relationship do you have with your customer? Is it very direct or very indirect? I mean, Facebook is very indirect. We derive a lot of value from Facebook, but it's very indirect. However, Kate, if you're taking pictures, I mean, what kind of relationship do you have to have with your clients? Face-to-face. I mean, it's got to be very, very dynamic, right? And then think about your follow-up relationships with your clients. After your sale is done, how do you follow up with them? How do you just basically communicate with them? Now, the next thing, so right here is kind of what your business does, and right here is what needs to happen in your business to make all that happen over there. So the next thing is the key activities. What needs to happen in your business in order to make your business run from day to day? That's KYDO. Keep the doors open. What are the daily things that need to happen in order to keep the wheels turning? Now, the key resources are the people and the things that you need in order to do your daily activities. So that could be, in your business, Scott, that would be designers, right? And some additional programmers on the side, software developers, I mean, just all kinds of things, right? Now, your key partners, a lot of businesses don't have a lot of key partners, but if you're, who are your partners over there?
For us,
Yeah,
Facebook is one partner,
okay.
but we have lots of marketing channels as really our partners.
Okay.
Google, shopping comparison sites.
Okay.
The postal system, they do favors for us sometimes, and we have to add extra, and even some of our vendors, we have to sometimes just use some muscle a little bit to get them to cater to us a little bit, so we need something.
Yeah.
And then we benefit them too, so.
Okay. You know, when I go through this process a lot of times, and that's great, you guys, when I go through this process, a lot of people that I got with partners. Well, if you're in business, you should have partners in some way, shape, or form. So if you're not at that area yet, I would really suggest you really start evaluating strategic partnerships with people. There's probably a few ways. Photography is pretty easy. I mean, you could partner with makeup artists or wedding planners, or that would be a key partnership for you. Now, the last thing you're going to look at is your cost structure and your revenue stream. You're just going to bullet point how money comes in and how money goes out. In your revenue streams, you're going to enumerate all of the ways you monetize your business and where money comes in. And then your cost structure is everything it costs in order to keep your key activities, your key resources, and your partnerships all together. Okay? And this seems really basic, really rudimentary, but a lot of people, once they actually go through this process, they realize that maybe their idea isn't functioning. Or maybe their business requires so many resources and so many daily activities that the overhead's just too great because it doesn't support the revenue model. But a lot of people will go through and they're writing these elaborate, detailed business plans that really don't hold their weight at all. But in early stage business, this is the process you can go through in order to really start building your business properly. Don't waste any time on business plans. And when you do want to write a business plan, come talk to us. I just finished a business plan for a girl the other day. She's presenting tomorrow for some funding, and that's what they're good for. But if you want to just do a business plan, the right one, I would think you're maybe a masochist. I don't know. They're painful and tedious. But anyways, that's really good advice for early stage businesses. Other than anybody have any questions about the campus at all? Or any other questions at all?
I'd love to go through that process with you.
Okay. Yeah.
Or some.
Yeah. Well, you grab my card and we can hook up and make an appointment and come on out. And I do want to emphasize that we do have, I'm out at Eagle Mountain Mondays and Thursdays. I'm out there pretty much all day long. So you can come out and schedule an appointment with me. My cards are right there in the back. I would love to talk to you guys about your businesses. If you need funding for your business, we can look into SBA loans, we can look into microloans, which are phenomenal for early stage businesses. They really help people get going. If you're just looking to evaluate how do I articulate my pain? How do I reach these markets? Because it sounds like everybody here, they need that. If you don't sell, you're going to go out of business. And the only way you can sell is really to get your message out to people in an effective way. And hopefully next month, that's what Brian's going to cater that entire forum to. It's really going to be a back and forth between everybody about marketing needs. How do you do this online? Or maybe how do you attack this in print? How can I evaluate the traction I'm getting online, or my vouchering online? Just really simple things like that. So, but they make a big difference in your business. So, any other questions at all? Okay. Thanks for coming out, guys. We'd like, if you can, just talk. That's what we want everybody to do.
And John, Paul Lytle just walked in.
Oh, yes. I didn't recognize you with the goatee. This is Paul Lytle. He's volunteered to be our one of our Eagle Mountain mentors. Paul is an attorney. You can maybe just talk a little bit about that, Paul.
Yeah, I've had a bunch of calls and a couple of consultations with people in this group, and basically what I'll try to do is volunteer my time to you for free and work through any issue you may have, and if there is work to be done. I haven't really done all that much on my own, but I'm usually able to refer you out to the right person or help you along the way. So I'm just here as a resource and whatever you guys need. But I'm happy to be here with Sean, and this is a great group.
So, in addition, just want you guys to know, we have an extensive network over at UVU. We plugged a lot of people into classes over there to help grow their businesses, where you can get access to grant funding in order to grow your business. Scott's in a program right now called Nell & Skellet over there. The opportunity to get $5,000 in grant money and then an additional $15,000 in grant money in order to build his business. And there's we currently have 3 businesses in that program through our incubator program out here in Eagle Mountain. So, like I said, if you're interested in any type of education or resources, there's plenty that we have access to. We'd love to plug you into those things. That's really our goal, is to help you guys grow your businesses in any way we can and create jobs. So, thanks for coming out, guys.